All right, today we're diving into something that is absolutely crucial for anyone looking to invest in the wild, exciting world of decentralized finance. It's a single step, a single signal that can tell you a huge amount about a project's security, its maturity, and, yeah, its potential for serious growth.
So if you're out there trying to navigate this space, trying to figure out which projects are solid and which ones are, well, not so solid, there is one word that needs to be at the very top of your checklist. What do you think it is?
That's it. Audit. A smart contract audit. And look, understanding what this is, why it matters so much, and what it's really telling you, that's absolutely fundamental. So let's get into it.
To really get why audits are such a big deal, you first have to understand the environment we're playing in. DeFi is a high-stakes world, you know? It's built on anonymous developers and code that runs itself, and that brings up the central problem: trust. And this isn't just some abstract concept. It's grounded in very recent, very painful history. As researcher Daniel Rabetti puts it, the FTX collapse wasn't just about one bad company, it was a massive wake-up call for the entire industry. It really hammered home the desperate need for some kind of verifiable trust.
And the amount of money at stake? It's absolutely staggering. Get this. According to recent reports, over $35 billion has been lost to blockchain hacks and exploits. And a huge chunk of that came from vulnerabilities in smart contracts that, frankly, could have and should have been caught.
See, here's the thing you have to remember. On the blockchain, the code is the final authority. We say code is law for a reason. It's immutable. You can't just push out a software patch after it's live. If there's a flaw in that code, it becomes a permanent, irreversible loophole that hackers can exploit forever.
And that is exactly where the audit comes in. It's the best answer we have to this problem of trust in a supposedly trustless system. It's our way of verifying the code before it gets locked in and becomes that permanent law.
So what is it exactly? Well, a smart contract audit is a super deep, methodical inspection of a project's code. And it's not just about looking for simple typos. The auditors are hunting for serious security flaws, errors in the project's logic, and even clever ways the system could be gamed economically, all before it ever goes live and your money is involved.
You know, a really great way to think about it is like a home inspection. You would never buy a house without an expert checking the foundation, the plumbing, all of it, right? Well, in the same way, you shouldn't put your capital into a DeFi protocol without experts checking its digital foundation, the code.
And this right here is the real takeaway for you as an investor. An audit isn't just a technical rubber stamp, it's a powerful signal to the market. It tells you the team behind the project is professional, that they actually take security seriously, and that they're mature enough to handle and protect other people's money. Okay, so what does this home inspection for code actually look like? What goes on behind the scenes? Let's peel back the curtain a bit and see how this whole process works. A real professional audit isn't just a chaotic bug hunt. It's a very structured, methodical journey. It starts with scoping, where they define what's being looked at. Then they review the high-level architecture. The real heavy lifting happens in the deep code review. After that, they write up a detailed report on everything they found. And then, this part's crucial, they do a fix verification, where they actually go back and confirm the team fixed the problems correctly.
Now, the audit itself is kind of like a two-pronged attack. You've got automated tools that are great for scanning the whole code base and catching the common, known types of bugs. But the real value, the real magic, comes from the manual review. That's where you have experienced experts who dig into the logic of the code to find those subtle, unique flaws, the unknown unknowns that a piece of software would just never spot. And this whole process is getting way more sophisticated. Modern audits use these really complex, adaptive systems. The key thing to know is that they're integrating all sorts of things: automated analysis, external tools, even AI, to help the human auditors spot risks more accurately. This is way beyond just one person reading code. It's a tech-enabled, multi-layered process. And then, for the most critical, highest-value protocols, you have the gold standard, formal verification. Now, this isn't just testing. This is using pure mathematics to prove that the code will always behave exactly as it's supposed to under every possible condition. It's pretty much the highest level of security assurance you can get.
Okay, so the process is intense, we get it, but so what? What does that mean for you? Well, this is where it gets really interesting, because all that rigor translates directly into a measurable payoff for the project, and by extension, for its investors. And look, the data on this is crystal clear.
Trust translates directly into capital. You can see here the difference in what's called total value locked, or TVL, which is basically just a measure of how much money is active in a protocol. The difference between audited and non-audited projects? It's not small. It is dramatic.
In fact, get this. Research shows that in just the first week after launching, audited protocols see a 37% greater increase in the amount of money people are willing to lock into them.
And that confidence just keeps building. Within the first quarter, that growth advantage for audited projects jumps to a massive 94%. An audit acts like an immediate stamp of approval that fuels both short-term confidence and long-term growth.
And it's not just about the money either. It's about the people. That same study found that audited protocols get a 42% bigger boost in their user base in that first week. It's simple. Users vote with their wallets, and they move toward projects that can prove they're serious about security.
Okay, so it's pretty clear an audit is a massive green flag for a project's potential. So let's boil all this down to a simple, actionable checklist that you can actually use when you're doing your research.
But first, a really important reality check. An audit is not a magic bullet. It doesn't guarantee a project is 100% safe or will never be hacked. But the absence of a professional recent audit, in today's market, that is a giant waving red flag that you just cannot ignore.
All right, here's your checklist. 1. Confirm an audit was actually done and by a firm with a solid reputation. 2. Don't just take their word for it. Find the report and read at least the summary. 3. Pay very close attention to any unresolved critical or high-severity issues. 4. See how the development team responded. Were they transparent? Did they fix things quickly? And 5. Go ask the community. See what the word is. Do they trust the team's approach to security?
So really, it all comes back to this one idea. In the decentralized world, a smart contract audit is the closest thing we have to verified trust. So the final question you've got to ask yourself before you invest is simple. In a world of anonymous code and irreversible transactions, how much is that verified trust really worth?